Have you ever had a dream, maybe a goal, or just this fervent wish that felt really close, but somehow always just out of reach? Or maybe you feel completely swamped by information, drowning in notes or articles, and just not sure how to pull out the important stuff. Well, today, we're doing a deep dive into something pretty fascinating, something that promises to cut through all that noise
Yeah,
and really empower you.
exactly. We're exploring the profound power of your own mind,
Wow. Yeah.
specifically your imagination and how it connects directly to your subconscious.
And this isn't just like vague positive thinking, right?
Not at all. It's more like a scientific application of some very old wisdom. We're talking tangible results in your life. We're drawing heavily today from Dr. Joseph Murphy's work, specifically some really potent excerpts from the Hindi translation of Believe in Yourself.
Okay.
These pages are packed with insights. Think of it as a shortcut to getting really informed about a pretty transformative way to approach life.
So our mission for you today, listening in, is to really unpack this idea. How imagination isn't just, a passing fancy or a daydream, but actually a primary mental power, a creative force inside you, like a master architect for your life.
hmm And we'll explore how understanding the principles behind it can help you manifest what you truly desire, achieve success, find peace, even when things get tough.
We're not just looking at the what to do, but really the why it works, hopefully sparking some of those aha moments that can genuinely shift your perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Giving you the tools to start building the life you envision.
Okay, so let's start right there. This core idea Dr. Murphy puts forward, imagination as the primary power of the mind. What does he actually mean by that?
It's fundamental to everything else he talks about. He sees imagination as having this incredible ability to, he uses the word impregnate thoughts and then clothe them in form.
Clothe them in form.
Yeah.
Wow, so like taking something purely mental, an idea or a wish.
Exactly. And giving it substance, so much substance that it actually shows up in your physical world. It's
Right.
about making thoughts real, tangible.
That's a big claim. How does he back that up?
Well, what's fascinating is he connects it to ancient wisdom, specifically mentioning the biblical Joseph.
Yeah.
He points out that the name Joseph itself means disciplined or controlled imagination.
Okay, interesting.
And he talks about Israel, Joseph's father, as a spiritually awakened man who understood this power. When Joseph is called the son of his old age, Murphy says it's not about literal age.
Right.
It signifies wisdom, divine knowledge, mastering the mind's laws. It implies that when you grasp and discipline your imagination, it becomes your son of old age, that mature understanding that births new realities.
So it's not just for biblical figures then. He sees it as a practical tool.
Absolutely. He stresses that great scientists, artists, inventors, architects, they all use this. When the world said impossible, the person with disciplined imagination said it's done and then made it happen.
Which leads to a powerful question for anyone listening. How often do you dismiss your own daydreams? Those little mental movies or wishes, do you just brush them off as fantasy, unproductive?
Right. And Murphy's asking, what if those aren't just random noise? What if they're the first drafts, the blueprints for your future? He suggests imagination can actually pierce through surface reality and show you what's truly possible beyond what you currently see.
Okay, let's make this more concrete. How does this work in practice? He talks about visualizing success.
He
Right?
does. He gives this great anecdote about a big industrialist. Started with just a small store, very relatable for many people. This man called himself a dreamer, like Joseph. And his practice wasn't just occasional. He regularly, systematically pictured huge buildings, offices, factories, stores, all in his mind.
Systematically, that sounds key.
It is. He truly believed that through what he called the loom of his mind, he could weave the fabric to clothe his dreams in reality, make them manifest. The key wasn't just the picture, but the consistency and the feeling, the conviction behind it. It was a dedicated mental practice.
And it worked for him.
Apparently, yes. He attracted the ideas, the right people, employees, friends, the money, everything needed, all through what Murphy calls the silent law of attraction. This industrialist really lived with these mental images until they took physical form.
Wow. And he shared that quote, didn't he? It's just as easy to imagine success as failure.
And much more interesting. Yes. It really highlights that choice we have. Where do we direct our mental energy?
So for you listening, have you ever stopped to think how your own persistent mental pictures, maybe even ones you're not fully aware of, might be shaping your day-to-day reality?
It's a crucial point. Murphy emphasizes that Joseph, the visionary, holds these definite images, these goals, in his mind consciously. And when these pictures are charged with emotion, with consistent attention, they connect with creative power. There's another thinker, Thomas Trode, who influenced Murphy. Trode said, "Feeling is the law, and the law is feeling."
Meaning the emotion behind the image is what gives it power.
Exactly. It's the difference between just wishing for something and having this deep, certain feeling that it's already happening or on its way. That's what electrifies the blueprint.
But it's not always straightforward, is it? We all have doubts. Murphy addresses this, right, with the story of Joseph's brothers.
He does. It's a brilliant metaphor. The brothers who hated Joseph Murphy interprets hating as rejecting or opposing. These brothers are your own internal critics, your negative thoughts, your doubts, limiting beliefs, fears.
Those voices saying, you can't do that, it's impossible, remember last time.
Precisely. They ridicule your plans, scoff at your ambitions, bring up every past failure. It's that internal mental battle that can derail your vision.
So what's the strategy? How do you deal with these brothers?
Murphy's advice is profound. He says to withdraw your attention from sensory evidence and the seeming of things.
Meaning, ignore reality.
Not exactly ignore it, but don't let it dictate your inner state if it contradicts your goal. Pull your focus away from the current facts that say, it's not happening. Instead, you focus steadfastly, intently on your goal, your desired outcome.
And fixing your mind like that engages this creative law.
That's the idea. When your mind is fixed, the creative law is activated, leading towards manifestation. He uses another metaphor here, the bowing sheaves. Remember the dream. My sheaf arose, and your sheaves made obeisance to my sheaf.
Right.
Murphy says this means you elevate your goal in your consciousness. You praise it, give it attention, love, devotion.
And the negative thoughts.
The brothers, as you keep focusing on the goal, they bow down, they lose their power, they vanish from your mind like a defeated enemy yielding. You assault the dominance of your desired reality.
So thinking about this personally, what are those brothers in your mind right now telling you something's out of reach? And how can you start, maybe even today, to redirect your attention, to starve those doubts and feed the dream instead?
Murphy insists you have this power to imagine the end result vividly. And by doing that, you gain control over the circumstances that seem to oppose you. If you really want something, form that complete picture, imagine its reality over and over. You're essentially compelling it into being.
Because it already exists in another dimension of your mind, like a blueprint waiting.
Exactly. Stay loyal to that vision, and it will eventually take physical form. Whatever clear impression you make, the master architect within builds it on the screen of your world.
This brings us to that other famous image, Joseph's coat of many colors. What's the deeper meaning there, according to Murphy?
He sees the coat as symbolizing a psychological garment. It represents your mental attitudes, your typical moods, your core emotions, how you present yourself inwardly and outwardly,
Okay.
and the many colors. That represents versatility, like the facets of a diamond. It's your amazing ability to clothe any idea in form, to bring it into reality using your inner world.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think of a friend going through a hard time, maybe financially. In your imagination, you can vividly see them enjoying abundance. Picture their face happy, relieved. See their whole demeanor change. Hear them expressing gratitude, peace, success.
So you're mentally dressing them in a coat of prosperity.
Precisely. You're seeing them as you desire them to be. Thriving, happy, successful. It's a way to use imagination constructively for others, too.
So this coat isn't just a nice story element. It's your active, disciplined imagination creating reality.
Yes. It can clothe lack with wealth, discord with peace, disease with health. Murphy is emphatic. Imagination is the primary power. It precedes all other powers. When it's disciplined, it frees you from limits of time and space, lifts you above limitations.
And when you fill it with lovely divine concepts.
It becomes your most potent tool for spiritual growth and creating a better life. This is that practical mysticism he talked about, influenced by his studies, especially under Trode.
There's also the metaphor of Joseph being thrown into the pit. What does that represent?
The pit, Murphy says, is the subconscious mind, or what he sometimes calls the probationary mind. It's where your desire, your concept, first goes after you form it.
Like planting a seed. It needs time underground.
Exactly. It needs that period of unseen incubation before it manifests. And just like Joseph became captain in the prison, imagination controls this whole conceptual world within the pit. It can free you from any kind of limitation, fear, sickness, lack. You imagine your freedom, your health, your abundance, and hold that image.
Until it becomes objective reality.
Yes. After that incubation, the manifestation happens. Your prayer is answered in concrete form.
Let's bring it back to something really tangible, like architecture.
Perfect example. Think of any great architect. Before any plans are drawn, before any ground is broken, where does that skyscraper, that bridge, that beautiful house exist?
In their mind, in their imagination.
Right. The entire structure was in their imagination first. That's the power we're discussing. You can visualize your mother clearly, hear her voice, even if she's miles away. You have this power. And Murphy believes you can consciously develop it to become successful, wealthy in every sense. This reflects his own journey, from struggling immigrant to successful pharmacist to spiritual teacher.
Okay, shifting gears slightly, but still related. Let's talk about mental attitude. This feels incredibly practical. You hear it in business all the time. His attitude was wrong.
Absolutely. The business world gets the importance of a right mental attitude. Sometimes it's valued even more than skill. Murphy tells a simple story about this. He'd written a pamphlet on reincarnation, a topic he studied deeply, especially during his time in India.
Okay.
It was selling poorly at a book counter where he lectured. Why? The sales girl had strong prejudices against the idea. Her attitude was resistant.
So what happened?
Murphy took the time to explain his interpretation, the symbolic meaning, the plot of the story, not as dogma, but as an idea. Her attitude completely shifted. She got enthusiastic. And guess what?
They sold out.
Every single copy before his lecture series ended, a direct result of her change in mental attitude.
Wow. So mental attitude is basically our reaction to people, situations, things.
That's how he defines it. How do you relate to coworkers, to new ideas, to the world? Do you see it as hostile or full of possibility? What's your default setting, your prevailing attitude?
What's fascinating is how he connects this to control.
Mhm.
He says you develop the right attitude when you realize nothing external can disturb you without your, what was it, mental consent.
Yes, your mental consent. It's huge. You're the only thinker in your world. Nothing outside you can make you angry, sad, or annoyed unless you allow it.
So external suggestions only have power if we give it to them.
Exactly. You empower them when you let them trigger negative thoughts or reactive emotions.
Which leads to the question for everyone listening. Do you let others influence you negatively? Headlines, gossip, criticism. Do they get under your skin?
If they do, Murphy says, you have to own it. You're the cause of your own unhappy mood. Your reaction is self-created. Your attitude in that moment is working against your peace.
He suggests an exercise for this, right? Imagining ill will versus goodwill.
Yes, try it. Imagine ill will for someone. Feel that negative, constricting energy inside you. It harms you. Now switch it. Imagine that same person being honest, kind, radiating goodwill. Feel the difference. That liberating feeling.
Yeah, it's completely different.
See, you are the master of your attitudes, your inner state. This power of choice is central to his message, which was often about empowerment rather than judgment.
He also says our concept of God, or infinite intelligence, is fundamental here. How does that connect?
It shapes your whole outlook. If you deeply believe that God is the spiritual power within you, always reacting creatively and positively to your thoughts, and that your habitual thinking can be harmonious and constructive, then that belief colors everything. You naturally expect the best. You move through life with a certain calm.
And the opposite.
Well, if someone has a gloomy, pessimistic attitude, they might be irritable, critical, quarrelsome, often because of an unconscious mental attitude dictating their reactions.
Can you give an example of shifting this attitude? Maybe with that story of the teenager.
Oh, yes, the 16-year-old boy. He came to Murphy struggling with bad grades, bad memory, classic student worries. Murphy saw the only real issue was his attitude. Once the boy truly grasped why his studies matter for his dream of becoming a lawyer, his internal state shifted. He changed his attitude.
And then he used scientific prayer. What does that mean exactly?
For Murphy, scientific prayer isn't pleading. It's deliberate mental alignment. It works on a principle. The inner power reacts to your thought. The teen realized this infinite power was within him, ready to reveal what he needed. The scientific part is the systematic, repeated impressing of the desired outcome onto this power, expecting a result like a scientist.
So what did he do?
He started affirming his memory was perfect. He consciously radiated love and goodwill to teachers and students. He actively changed his inner vibration.
And the visualization part.
Critically important. He constantly imagined his teachers and mother congratulating him on excellent grades, saw their smiles, heard their praise. This specific, disciplined imagining changed his whole feeling about studying. It brought freedom, and his grades shot up.
So our attitudes really stem from our imagination.
According to Murphy, yes. If you habitually imagine a bad day, poor business, no customers, no money, your subconscious works to create precisely those results. It follows the blueprint you give it.
That story about the man and the snake in London really drives this home.
It's startling, isn't it? He hallucinated a snake, wasn't real, but his body reacted as if it was real, paralyzed with fear, heart pounding.
Because his mental reaction was the key thing.
Exactly. His mental reaction to the imagined reality held the power, not the external fact or lack thereof. It forces the question, what reality are you habitually imagining and reacting to? Joyful or painful?
And that leads back to choice. Choose this day whom ye will serve. Murphy sees this as choosing to imagine what's lovely, admirable, good.
Yes. That conscious choice fundamentally changes your emotional attitude towards life, which in turn shapes your experiences. The mental pictures you dwell on, you create outwardly. So it's your responsibility, your power, to imagine situations that lift you, bring joy, satisfy you. If you imagine life as harsh, cruel, full of conflict, you're decreeing that reality for yourself.
Which fits with his core message, right? The solution is internal.
Absolutely. He hammered this home in his radio shows, his books, his lectures. Change your mind, not just the circumstances. The power is within.
Think about visualizing different scenarios. Imagine being on a beautiful golf course, feeling relaxed, enthusiastic, enjoying the challenge.
Or picture yourself at a wedding, celebrating a friend, feeling the love, the beauty, the peace.
The feelings are totally different, even though it's just imagination.
Right. Your inner environment, your coat of many colors makes the difference. Wherever you are physically, you can ascend into the heaven of your own mind. You change the inner landscape first, and the outer starts to follow.
He uses another Joseph dream too, doesn't he? The sun, moon, and stars bowing down.
Yes. And in ancient symbolism, the sun is the conscious mind, the moon is the subconscious. The 11 stars are the other mental faculties.
So imagination is supreme. It directs the others.
That's the interpretation. Disciplined imagination controls the direction of both conscious and subconscious thoughts. It's the leading power, scientifically directable for your highest aims.
Murphy shares a personal story about his father, the Jesuit professor, right, at that round tower in Ireland.
A beautiful story. His father stood silent, meditating for an hour. Young Murphy asked what he was thinking. His father explained he was contemplating the stones, imagining their journey from the quarry, dissolving their forms, seeing their geological origins, reducing them to their formless state.
Wow.
Then he imagined them as one with all stones, all life. He realized he could mentally recreate the history of the Irish race just from that tower. He could see the people, hear them, go back in time.
That's incredible imaginative power. Not just fantasy, but accessing deeper truths.
Exactly. Murphy suggests this subjective mind, this living intelligence, is in all things. Everything is life. The sun and moon bow to disciplined imagination. Through it, you can conceive nature's secrets, plumb the depths of consciousness, find connections hidden from ordinary sight.
He talks about contemplating the vastness of the universe too, like looking at the sun and imagining infinite suns.
Yes, to grasp that feeling of immensity. Our world is just a grain of sand. We're all part of this vast whole nature, God, spirit. And he notes from all his studies that all religions, all great inventions, radio, TV, jets, they all spring from this realm of disciplined imagination. It's an infinite treasure house.
So you can look at ruins, pyramids, and through imagination, feel their history, bring them back to life.
Yes. See a modern city rise from desolate ruins, feel trapped by poverty or even prison bars, but find immense freedom in your imagination.
It's like Chico the sewer cleaner, or John Bunyan writing Pilgrim's Progress in prison.
Exactly. Or Milton, blind, seeing with his inner eye, creating Paradise Lost. These aren't just stories. They show imagination's power to liberate, regardless of circumstance.
Imagination was Milton's spiritual eye.
That's how Murphy puts it. It let him erase limitations, reveal truths beyond the physical. A genius, for Murphy, is someone deeply connected to their subconscious, able to draw knowledge from that silent storehouse effortlessly. Gifted people have highly developed imaginative faculties. Poets, authors, they tap into this universal wellspring.
You can almost picture Shakespeare doing this. Taking old stories, internalizing them, then vividly imagining the characters' hair, skin, bone, making them so real they still speak to us centuries later.
That's doing your father's business, as Murphy would say. expressing your innate wisdom, abilities, bringing happiness. Even if you run a small store, imagining a bigger one, serving more people that's doing it.
Or a writer, conceiving a story that teaches universal principles, like the golden rule.
Yes, you pass the story, the characters through your refined artistic mentality. Make it real to you first, then it will resonate with others. Truth clothed in beauty.
You can see an acorn and imagine a forest. See a desert and imagine it blooming.
Exactly. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree. Those with this imaginative gift see potential where others see only barrenness. They find water in the desert, build cities.
Because the architect sees the city, the roads, the wells mentally first.
Yeah.
I will make the wilderness a pool of water.
Precisely. It's not just hard work. Greatness often comes in those silent moments of intense inner focus. Seeing the transcendent vision first, then acting.
Like an artist imagining the beauty of the Father on their canvas.
Yeah.
Inspiration comes not from toil, but that inner alignment.
Yes. This reflects Murphy's own intense writing process, hours seemingly in a trance, drawing from that inner source. He mentions a poet in Greenwich Village. She said when she was quiet, words and pictures came, characters conversed with her, whole poems arrived complete.
And her habit.
Habitually imagining she was writing beautiful poems that touched people's hearts. Shelley said poetry is imagination's expression. When you meditate on love, wanting to write about it, that inner wisdom excites the mind, clothes words in beauty effortlessly.
The great musician is within us too.
Yes, if you compose or play, recognize the universal power as the great musician. Meditate, feel, know that inner music plays the song of divine love through you. You'll reach new heights. Edison's inventions appeared in his imagination first. Tesla, too, visualized inventions perfectly before building anything.
Oliver Wendell Holmes said, "We need people who can idealize, imagine, prophesy."
Yes. Imagination led Henry Ford to envision putting the world on wheels. It lets you remove bonds of time and space, recreate the past, contemplate the future.
No wonder Genesis says Israel loved Joseph's imagination most.
When disciplined, spiritualized, controlled, scientifically directed, it's our most exalted quality, our most powerful tool. This explains why Murphy, after leaving the seminary, dedicated his life to teaching people how to harness this innate power.
There's that amazing story about the young chemist, too, tasked with making a dye the experienced chemists couldn't.
Right. He didn't know it was considered impossible, so he just did it.
How?
He said he imagined the answer was already his. He saw the word answer in glowing red in his mind with a blank space. He trusted his subconscious to fill it in if he held the image.
And it did.
On the third night, he dreamt the entire formula and technique. A perfect example of the subconscious delivering when given a clear, imaginative demand.
So Joseph, imagination, is a visionary and a dreamer, and the brothers conspiring to slay him. That's our own fear and doubt again.
Exactly. Those thoughts conspire to kill your dream. You look at circumstances. Fear whispers limitations. But if you nurture the desire within, it brings peace, solves the problem. Be a practical dreamer like Joseph. Decide to make your dreams real. The key step. Withdraw attention from the seeming of things now.
Even if your senses deny what you're praying for.
Yes. Affirm steadfastly what you feel is true in your heart. That's faith accepting something as true.
Stop the mind wandering after false gods of fear and doubt.
Right. Rest your mind in the all-powerful spiritual power within. Meditate on the fact there's only one power, one presence reacting to your thought now, guiding you, strengthening you, bringing peace. Place your whole attention on recognizing this power's dominion. Know it has the answer, is showing you the way now. Believe it, trust it, walk in that light. Your prayer is being answered.
Like Columbus, imagination drove him, right? Picturing that new route.
Absolutely. Faith plus disciplined imagination carried him through, despite overwhelming challenges. When his crew despaired, his answer was unwavering. Sail on, sail on, sail on.
That's the key to prayer. Persistence, faithfulness to the end.
Yes. Be faithful every step. Persist. Know the end is secure because you've already seen and felt it in your imagination. Copernicus used imagination to reveal the Earth revolved on its axis, shattering old concepts.
It makes you think, we should probably examine our own deeply held beliefs more often. Ask, why do I believe this? Where did it come from?
Definitely. Some ideas we inherit or accept are maybe just false. We accept them without real examination. Just because our parents or grandparents believe it doesn't make it the final word.
This ties into Murphy questioning his own religious upbringing.
Very much so. He tells of a woman who insisted an idea must be true because her grandmother believed it. Murphy called that nonsense. The collective mind holds many untrue beliefs. Passed down doesn't mean right. This woman, though honest, was rigid. Prejudiced against new psychological insights, took everything literally. Her mind resisted anything outside her box.
So our minds should be like parachutes, only useful when open.
Good analogy. We need to open our minds to new truths, new possibilities, cultivate a hunger for new knowledge so we can fly above problems on wings of faith and understanding. Great scientists, biologists, physicists, mathematicians, they have this unified scientific imagination. Einstein's relativity came to him as a mental experiment first.
And archaeologists, they use imagination to recreate ancient scenes from bones and ruins.
Absolutely. The dead past comes alive. They see the temple rebuilt, gardens restored, fossils walk and talk again in the mind's eye. The past becomes present, no time or space in imagination. You can become a companion to the most inspired writers, conversing with their ideas.
Murphy describes experiencing this himself while preparing a lecture on Revelation.
Yes, at the Wilshire Ebell Theater, where his services were packed. Meditating on the verses, he felt the presence, the companionship of the prophet John who wrote them. He felt he was in that holy city, New Jerusalem, experiencing it imaginatively.
So we can do this too. Walk the corridors of our mind, feel that divine river of peace, be in that holy city within ourselves.
That's the potential. Your mind filled with joy, happiness, faith, goodwill, clothed in God's beauty, mentally married to all good things, putting on the wedding garment, identified with the infinite, feeling God's spirit filling every atom, leading to healing, seized with divine frenzy, God intoxicated, immunized by God's presence in your heart.
But he warns against misusing it, right? Never use imagination negatively.
Crucial point, never pervert it. Imagining disease, accidents, loss, that's mentally desolating yourself. Habitually imagining sickness or lack actively destroys your own peace, health, happiness.
You mentioned someone watching a sunset, wishing it could last forever.
Yes, we have those moments of bliss. But nothing physical lasts forever. Only the truths, the principles. Night comes, but so does morning. We don't want stagnation. Change is the root of life. New worlds to conquer, within and without.
And problems aren't punishments. They're life asking for solutions.
Exactly. The joy is in overcoming. Without change, life would be unbearable monotony. We experience opposites: night day, cold heat, success failure. Through imagination, we harmonize these opposites, find peace amidst the flux. In sorrow or loss, imagination and faith lift you to the heart of God your Father. There you find peace, consolation, rest.
This must be why his prison ministry was so powerful, teaching people to find that inner refuge.
It seems so. In your imagination you behold God's truth, and God wipes away tears. No more mourning. Divine love dissolves the mists. Behold, I make all things new. That's the power of a renewed mind.
So when things look darkest, when there's no way out, imagination is the savior.
That's what he suggests. I will lift up mine eyes, imagination, unto the hills. The hills are internal God's presence within.
Focus on the stars of divine truth. Affirmations like infinite intelligence guides me.
Yes, that's the core of what Murphy, the practical mystic, taught. Tap into that inner source.
Because there's an inner designer, architect, weaver, always at work.
Constantly, taking the garments of your mind, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and weaving the pattern of your life. Peace or discord, health or disease, it reflects your inner state.
You can imagine a life that brings you to the third heaven, experiencing joy, or descend into self-created suffering through negative imagination.
The choice is stark. But even if someone has fallen low, the healing presence is always there within, waiting to be called upon, activated. You can use imagination in business too. Put yourself in the other person's place. Empathy guides you. Imagine them expressing their best selves, operating from potential, not current limitations.
Even if they seem difficult or antagonistic.
Yeah. Especially then. See the frustrated hopes and beauties within them waiting for release. Imagine lovely, good things for them. You clothe them in God's garment of perfection. God's ideal is waiting to be born in them. You can light that spark. It might become a divine fire.
Like Leonardo da Vinci meditating on Christ and the disciples, drawing ideal pictures from his inner storehouse.
Exactly. That intense focus brought an inner luster, inspiring masterpieces like The Last Supper. It wasn't just skill. It was vision made real.
And the quiet mind reflects this inner light, like a still lake reflecting the sky.
Beautiful image, isn't it? That quietude allows clarity. Form that vivid picture of your goal. Live in harmony with it. Let it thrill you. You will move towards what governs your mind. Goals are like dew from heaven, refreshing the mind, bringing purpose.
And imagination is the river, whose streams make glad the city of God.
Yes. Imagination directed consciously flows back to God, your highest self. The streams are your thoughts, feelings, expressions of love and goodwill. Even amidst world problem sickness, in humanity, the person with disciplined imagination rises above appearances. They see the higher harmony working behind it all.
They know there's a permanent law of righteousness, infinite peace, unlimited love governing everything.
With unshakable conviction. Imagination penetrates the illusion, rests in the divine meaning, which is why those biblical promises resonate. He shall give his angels charge over thee, or even there shall thy hand lead me. They affirm inherent divine protection, accessed through an aligned mind.
So we have this profound choice: create beautiful outcomes, or mentally desolate ourselves with fear and negativity.
Embrace change as the root of life. See problems as invitations to find solutions, finding joy in overcoming.
And when things are toughest, let imagination be your savior. Lift your eyes to the internal hills, the presence within. Focus on divine truth.
Remember that inner architect, weaver, designer, taking your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and weaving your life's path.
Which brings us back to the core question. How can you, listening right now, activate your inner architect? How can you start weaving a tapestry of peace, health, and joy for your life today?
It's a powerful question to sit with.
We've really covered a lot today, journeying through this incredible power of imagination, seeing it not as fantasy, but as that master architect inside you, truly shaping your reality.
We've unpacked how mental attitude, inner talk, directly influence experiences, and looked at practical ways, visualization, scientific prayer to impress your subconscious with your desires, turning wishes into realities.
And that core wisdom keeps coming back. As a man imagines and feels, so he becomes. It seems the solution isn't always about fighting external circumstances.
Often it's about transforming your own mind, your internal state, your connection to that inner power. You're the master of your destiny because the power for change is right there within you.
So here's a final thought to take with you. If your imagination truly is, as Dr. Mosi suggested, God's workshop, what masterpiece will you begin to create or maybe recreate in your life, starting now?
We really encourage you to reflect on these principles. Maybe choose one area where you want change. Start applying disciplined imagination, that positive mental attitude.
What will you begin to believe in yourself and believe for yourself today?